This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Hundreds more Manitoba wildfire evacuees have now been moved to hotel rooms as 10 more hotels have opened up space to people displaced by out-of-control blazes. The province says nearly 13,000 Manitobans from 9 communities are now under evacuation order. Hundreds are staying in congregate shelters. More than 700 evacuees have been moved into hotels since Monday. The province says it aims to match available rooms with the support people need.
Look for long-term availability because we don't want evacuees to have to move and relocate from hotel to hotel. We would like people to be able to settle in.
Nearly 300 people from outside Manitoba are helping with the wildfires here. The majority are here from Mexico. Now, being evacuated can not only be stressful and traumatic, but it can be boring. It's hard to keep adults and children occupied, especially when you might not have the means available to do much. CBC's Rosanna Hempel has more on what people are doing to keep busy.
Daniel Harper is helping look after his 17 grandchildren in Winnipeg. Their community of Garden Hill Anishinaabe Nation was evacuated due to wildfire last week. Finding things for everyone to do in the city has been a challenge.
Totally they are. They said that we're bored.
His 10-year-old granddaughter usually plays games with her cousins and siblings back in Garden Hill. In the last week, Natty Harper's routine has changed.
I just use the phone.
Her mother says the cost of activities and getting around Winnipeg has been the main issue. It's the experience of many evacuees we spoke to, recognizing that the University of Winnipeg, which is hosting more than 400 evacuees, is launching more programming by the day.
We are bringing over a number of basketballs and soccer balls that people can use on our outdoor court. But some of these camps already existed, and we simply just expanded those camps to allow more people to come and join those for free.
Education project Toy Box offered to do programming and is piloting a daily hour-long session for kids 4 to 13. Director Sherry Lynn Skorchuk is a professor at the university.
I see lots of people here with not much to do. I saw a little hopscotch with tape on the floor, and that's about all that I saw in the beginning. I said we would really like to help. 2, 4, 6, 8.
Facilitator Lynn Dallett helped mascot Noom make an appearance to help with games and numeracy skills.
We just wanted to emphasize a lot of movement for the kids since we know it's tricky being so far away from home and very difficult.
Meanwhile, the province says it continues to work with community and Indigenous partners to offer programming for children and youth, with more opportunities to come in the next few days. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A 24-year-old man from Traverse Bay has been charged after a man was killed in Teulon. A 37-year-old died after being shot at home in the Interlake town Sunday night. RCMP chased a car believed to be involved in the shooting into a cornfield and made an arrest. Donovan Scogan is charged with second-degree murder and intimidation of a justice system participant. The province is adding up to 100 more ankle bracelets to help keep tabs on suspects and offenders. The $1.2 million expansion doubles capacity in the monitoring program. Brandon's police chief says having real-time GPS tracking and automatic alerts allows police to respond faster. 5 monitors have been deployed in Brandon since November. A new program wants to help newcomers and racialized youth in Brandon step into the world of local government and imagine themselves as future leaders. CBC's Chelsea Kemp has more.
Ahmed Oktay tries on firefighter gear during a tour of Brandon's fire hall. He's part of Brandon's new Youth Rise leadership program. For 12 weeks, Oktay and his peers will take part in skill-building sessions and receive mentorship from local leaders. It's 4 weeks in, and he says he's already learned a lot.
Or leading is, for example, you have to be congruent, you have to be real with your emotions. You have to act who you are.
RISE is a civic engagement program developed in partnership with Westman Immigrant Services, the Urban Alliance on Race Relations, and the City of Brandon. Enver Naidu says the program empowers racialized youth to think about their futures in Brandon.
But we see this as a really unique opportunity to connect youth from diverse backgrounds to opportunities to build and grow their career within municipal government or municipal organizations. And it's also a great opportunity to support retention in our province as well.
Fire Chief Terry Parlow gave students a tour of the fire station. He hopes youth can see themselves as future leaders in the community.
And seeing their eyes light up when we talk about the communications center and we talk about the firefighter paramedic or a paramedic or administration. And there's so many opportunities that they just don't know about until we tell them.
Regina Carlos says the program already has her thinking about the future and how building relationships can help shape it.
I think that in college in the future or in university, I might be able to use networking to my advantage to move up in society, to move up in the world. Yeah.
Westman Immigrant Services says it plans on growing the program to include more youth and organizations in the future. Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, Brandon.
An inner-city councillor in Winnipeg wants to ban encampments from areas designed for kids and families. A motion from Daniel McIntyre Rep Cindy Gilroy calls for the city to prevent people from camping on spray pads, community gardens and playgrounds. It came up at the final council meeting of the summer.
This isn't out of lack of compassion. This is out of frustration of inaction. We have been having major issues around finding needles, finding drug paraphernalia, and things that quite simply can, if a child gets a hold of it, can easily die from.
Mayor Scott Gillingham says he too is frustrated, but says other cities have encountered legal impediments to banning encampments. A group of Winnipeg seniors are getting ready to send 1,000 paper cranes to Japan. It's all for Hiroshima's annual peace ceremony. They say they want to inspire change. CBC's Felicia Adam has more.
It might look like ordinary origami, but behind every fold and every crane made is the hope for peace.
Too many people are dying, have died, and there's no reason for it.
Denise Desjardins is part of a group of residents at Misericordia Terrace, working since the beginning of the year to make 1,000 paper cranes.
Because I'll show you what happens after. What's going to make
it all started with frustration about the state of world peace. In an effort to help, they took inspiration from Japanese tradition, which says the cranes represent healing and grants the folder's wish. After the 1945 bombing of Hiroshima in Japan, the cranes became symbolic, giving voice to the survivors. Desjardins wishes for less violence around the world.
We're in danger of losing our freedom in the sense that we have to fight to be who we are now, which was never a fight, but is now.
Dawn Reynolds-Blaine says she was happy to join the cause. She's hoping for change in Ukraine and Gaza.
Make the world aware, because there's a lot of people that don't know what's going on.
Clemence Gregoire brought cranes she made at home. For her, she worries about the actions of U.S. President Donald Trump.
I know, like, it's ways of doing things, but, you know, so, and we don't know what's going to happen with all this.
It looks like you're doing the rainbow.
Activities Program Director Darren Hemrick is helping the residents reach their goal, but also helping them spread their message of peace.
With the things going on in Russia and Ukraine, the United States, I think it's just a good message to reiterate.
Once the cranes are made, they're strung up and put into boxes. Soon they'll fly to Japan to be part of Hiroshima's annual peace ceremony in August. But for now, they have a temporary home right here in the city. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Another pleasant day across much of the province today. 23 degrees in Winnipeg this afternoon as forecast, 21 in Brandon. This is still a few degrees below seasonal. We should be up at around 25, 26 for much of southern Manitoba, even into northern Manitoba, into the low 20s today. Those lower temperatures helping with that firefight in northern Manitoba. Still an air quality warning in place for Island Lake, Norway House, Thompson, over toward Flin Flon. This is where we have, of course, all of those wildfires burning in the province, but also a southerly wind helping circulate that into northern Manitoba. In the south, bit of high level cloud today. That's about it. We'll do this again tomorrow. A mix of sun and clouds. Hazy at times, particularly as we get later in the day. A slight risk we could see a thunderstorm late in the day. Other than that, we're looking at a 7 for your UV index and our sun setting at 9:28. I'll have your weekend forecast just ahead.
Thanks, Riley. It's Manitoba's first ever ground-level virtual production studio that can transform any idea into an all-encompassing environment for the camera. We'll have more on that straight ahead. The province says the search at Prairie Green Landfill officially ended earlier this month. We're told private ceremonies were held earlier this week with the families of Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron. Some remains of the women were found at the site in February. Now that the search is complete, the government says the special equipment and personnel will shift to the Brady Road facility. They'll be looking for the remains of Ashley Shingoose, who had been known as Buffalo Woman. All 3 women, in addition to one other, were victims of a now convicted serial killer. Riley's back, and I'm going to steal a play out of your book and say it was a pleasant day outside today.
Comfortable out there.
Yes, it was not bad.
Yeah.
And that weather hopefully going to continue into tomorrow for the Bombers game.
Yes, big game coming up tomorrow. Stampeders in town, of course. We're hoping to get some redemption, I think.
Yeah.
It should be nice weather for that game if you're heading out to the stadium tomorrow evening. Although, just know that there is a slight risk we could get a couple of rumbles of thunder. I'll get into it. Here is a look at that forecast for that football game tomorrow evening, 7:30. That should be Friday at 7:30, not Thursday. My days have been so mixed up this entire week, but we're looking at 21 degrees at kickoff, 19 by halftime. Again, winds fairly light, but just know there is that very slight risk we could get into a rumble of thunder into the early evening hours tomorrow. So again, this low pressure system that's been stalled out over Hudson Bay has been having an impact on our weather. This is bringing down some of that cool Arctic air, upper level, this ridge, this trough in the jet stream, really digging quite a ways south, even into parts of the Midwest, looking at temperatures into the low 20s. So that's how far south some of this below seasonal weather is shifting at this time. As we get into next week, though, we do get into a bit of a pattern change and into some warmer weather as well. A few passing clouds as we get through the overnight hours, maybe a couple of stray showers, particularly along the international border into the early morning hours, but that's about it for your Friday. We do get into a mainly sunny sky by the afternoon, and this is Futurecast indicating that potential for a couple rumbles of thunder as we get into the evening, into the overnight hours by the time we get into Saturday morning. Saturday morning, much the same, a mix of sun and clouds. We'll get the leading edge of some cloud cover moving in as we get later into the evening hours. This does fuel a chance we could see some showers as we get into Sunday across southern Manitoba, although that risk concentrated a little bit further west into the Westman area. So thunderstorm risk as we get into the afternoon hours on Friday, really for the Interlake into the Parkland region, but there is that chance some of this slips a little bit further south into the Red River Valley. Not talking any severe weather, but could see some wind gusts up to 70 kilometers an hour, some small hail or some damaging or heavy downpours is what I'm trying to say. They're up to about 20 millimeters of rain in some of those thunderstorms. So not all that severe, but just know that we could get ourselves into some thunderstorms as we get into the afternoon hours. 23s, 24s across the south as we get through the afternoon hours on Friday, 23 in Thompson tomorrow afternoon. Up to 26, back to seasonal as we get into the afternoon on Saturday. 25 degrees, Brittany, as we get into the day on Sunday. And this fuels a fairly good chance of seeing some wet weather to start next week. That's coming up in your 7-day.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, Manitoba is a hub for Hollywood films, but making movies look real can cost a lot of money. To save, production companies often have to shoot in a virtual production studio using state-of-the-art cameras and screens. Now, the technology has been used in shows like The Mandalorian and Call of Duty, but these kinds of studios didn't exist in Manitoba until now. CBC's Jim Agapito got a sneak peek.
My name is Austin Mackay, and we are here at Avro XR Studios. This studio is actually a partnership between two Manitoba-based companies, Copilot XR and EventPro. We come from two very similar worlds, but in differing spaces. EventPro specializes in live events and LED, and we specialize in virtual productions. So we've brought these two specialties together to create Avro XR Studio. This space is Manitoba's first ground-level virtual production studio. So you can drive a car right into this space. You don't have to worry about using green screen. You can see where you are. The actors can see where they are in this scene. No one has to imagine what they're seeing. A lot of those effects can be done, or those preliminary effects can be done on the LED wall. So on our cinema camera here, we have the Moses Star Tracker Pro, and this is, an industry standard for camera tracking. So this has a camera that shoots up and can see all of these stars on the ceiling. So these are reflective stickers that basically help position the camera tracker in sort of space and time, and sends that tracking data to Unreal Engine and pairs it all up with the camera. So this is sort of the special tool that makes virtual production possible.
Wow, this is a crazy amount of LED walls. Like, how many do you have here?
So we have 144 individual LED cabinets. Those consist of 4 LED modules inside of them. So, but 144 LED tiles here, spanning from 30 feet wide to 16 feet high. They're all sort of programmed in a way that allows us to do different types of frame rates. So we could do up to 120 frames per second in the studio.
Well, what are we seeing here? And it's interesting to see that there's some masking on the screen. What's happening here?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you're seeing here is actually an interactive 360-degree environment. That is connected to the camera and the camera tracker here. So whenever the camera moves, it actually changes the perspective correctly in the 360-degree environment. So you're able to, film as if you're in it. And what you're seeing around it actually is, this is the frustum. So you're able to see exactly what the camera is actually seeing itself. And then anything outside of that is sort of blacked out, so you don't have to see that. It doesn't have to render it as much, so the computers can use its processing power on what we're actually seeing on the camera.
Is this city like Toronto? What city is this behind us?
This is actually a completely simulated environment called Modern City.
It was so fun.
What we're doing behind me right now is a card processing shot, where if you were to do it in the real world, you would need to get insurance, you need a trailer with a car on it, you need your actors to be in that car, you need to drive around the city, you need to close down streets, the proper insurance necessary for doing all of this. You also have to factor in the time of day. You have to factor in what city this is taking place in. If you come into the studio for a day or two, however long you need it for, you can pick any city you want, any lighting, any time of day. The possibilities of doing these sorts of shots are sort of endless. All right, Jim, why don't we turn off the house lights and get you in that car?
Really?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I want to see what this magic is. I feel like I'm in a video game here, Austin. Like I'm in a convertible. This interior is red leather, and it's an 82 Z28 Camaro, correct?
Yeah, I think 81 maybe, but
81,
yeah.
Okay. And this is cool. So I see the guys around me are what are they doing here?
Well, they're setting up lighting so that we can get, simulate sort of natural reflections.
Yeah, and I guess like here, they're basically like some daylight. You have different kinds of light to basically make the environment, modern world behind us.
Exactly. Cars passing by, street lights, anything, trying to really get those live reflections, because those live reflections are what really sell this process. We're able to have some the LED wall here playing what they're seeing, so they can actually look at what they're passing by as they're driving.
Oh yeah, and it makes it really interactive, so it just makes the acting right on point.
Exactly. Companies like us that want to try these things, you'd have to travel anywhere else in the world. In a lot of our places in Canada, you'd have to go to Toronto or Vancouver to do something like this. And once you add those costs together, it makes more sense to have something like this in the city. Manitoba has one of North America's leading film production tax credits, and having a space like this dedicated to virtual production that can be used on multiple types of production really opens the doors for producers and creators of all kinds to take advantage of that tax credit here in Manitoba. Our hope is to make this one of the most accessible virtual production studios in Canada, if not all of North America.
Coming up, why a new federal report says Canada needs an agency to manage public UFO sightings. More on that straight ahead. Canada needs a transparent agency in charge of managing reports of UFOs by the public. Now, that's according to a report released this week by Canada's Office of the Chief Science Advisor. The Sky Canada Project study suggests there's a need for a cohesive framework to deal with sightings. Winnipeg science writer Chris Rakowski was a consultant on the report.
There is some evidence that there's something really unusual going on in the skies. There is some video footage from fighter jets that suggests something unusual is being detected and observed and chased in some cases, but we don't have enough information because it hasn't been transparent enough. We just don't, there's information missing.
He adds that while there are some interesting reports out there, it doesn't necessarily mean that aliens are visiting us.
Is it too cliche to say back here on Earth now following that one? I don't know. Here's your dog walking forecast. Luna and Zena, thank you, Pam and Leah, for sending this picture. And great day tomorrow, I think, for a walk for these two. Pretty seasonal, pretty sunny out there, light southerly wind, 23 degrees by the afternoon, and looking at temperatures hanging around the 20-degree mark even into the evening. So there you go, into the weekend, 26 for Saturday. We'll get some clouds starting to build in into Sunday, and then we're looking at some showers as we get through the day on Monday with the risk of a thunderstorm. And temperatures dipping below seasonal once again as we get into the middle of next week, 23 for Wednesday and 25 on the way for Thursday. 5,000 tons is what 900 full-grown male elephants would weigh, and that is how much Big Carl can lift.
If you wondered. And Big Carl is tonight's Daily Lift. There he is. Big Carl is the nickname for the world's largest crane. At 250 meters tall, it's practically a landmark now in Somerset, England. It's seen here lifting a massive dome to cover this nuclear reactor building under construction.
The Hinkley Point Power Station will be Britain's first new nuclear plant in more than 2 decades. It is expected to become operational by 2029. The project is part of the country's push to boost energy security and reach its climate targets. That is a big lift.
Yeah, well, hopefully he doesn't drop it.
That's why I don't do jobs like that.
We will do this big lift again tomorrow night. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll try.